Hi, this is Josh Sumner doing my APUS Oral History project. Today I have my dad, Benjamin Sumner, with me.
Hello.
And I'm going to be asking him questions about the time period from 1985 to 1995. Alright, first question. What was the political climate during the period from 1985 to 1995 like?
I only speak for myself. We really didn't pay attention to it. It was, not a whole lot happening, not a whole lot to deal with. How do I get through one day to the next? We weren't really thinking of, we need to elect this person because they're going to take care of the poor. We need to elect this person because we need to make more money. It was just simply, how do I get from this day to the next day?
So it was very, very self-oriented more than it was kind of group thing.
Yeah, I would say so. It was more self-oriented.
Alright, and what, if any, political groups were you involved in during this period?
I remember that at my high school, the Democratic Party at least would come there at the gymnasium and enroll people during lunch. Mm-hmm. So most people in my high school registered as Democrats. I remember my father, for example, saying, the government needs to look after the farmer, the agriculture, or whatever, or we're not going to have food to live on. So that was a big piece of it. Other than that, I don't remember anything politically really coming at us and saying, you need to step up and do this or that.
All right, transitioning away from politics, what do you think was the most important historical event that happened during this time period, from 85 to 95?
Historical event, probably, not necessarily in this order, the Berlin Wall coming down. Mm-hmm. Was that, it was actually televised, so you saw the images on TV and you could see people actually feeling freedom for the first time, mm-hmm. which was just awesome to see. The second thing was the advancement of technology, computers, because before then there were no cell phones, there were no computers. You just didn't encounter that stuff. Mm-hmm. So probably those two things.
All right. What was your reaction when you first heard of the Berlin Wall coming down, or when you first saw it?
When I first saw it, because didn't really think about it. Greensboro, North Carolina, you're a little bit isolated from it. You don't have to worry about a whole lot. There weren't any. It's not like someone's on a border pointing a gun at you. You just didn't think about it. So for living here and growing up here, Berlin Wall coming down, the images on TV were your first real sense of, hey, wait a minute, these people were contained and not allowed to communicate with these other people. So when you saw them chiseling rocks off of the wall, and the expressions on the face, the emotion carried through. So it actually kind of moved people here. It moved me. 20-some years later, I found myself in Munich during reunification day, the anniversary of when the wall came down, and watching the enthusiasm of people's faces and how they felt about it, the people there. Where it really changed things here was because there was always the ominous threat of communism, mm-hmm. and now it was gone.
So that was like a big transition.
Yeah, it was a breath of fresh air.
All right. Economically, how was the period of 1985 to 95 for you, being middle class?
That period was a period of growth. I started a business during that period. I became self-employed, obviously, and it was a situation or a time frame where if you needed something, you could go out and work for it. It wasn't like, I want to start this business. Well, now I have to have this license. I have to do this. I have to do that. Mm-hmm. And not being able to. It was, if you want to go out and earn, you could go out and earn.
So it was a period where people were very self-reliant.
Yes, very much so. I can't say everybody. There was still a sense of social welfare, if you will, that take care of those who can. But for the most part, if you were able to work, you could go out and work. You could get a job. You could make money.
All right. Away from economics, was the Gulf War a big issue for you?
Gulf War Not necessarily a huge issue. What sticks in my mind is remembering having the thoughts of that Bush didn't have time to finish what he started,
Hmm.
and thinking, you know what, this is making a difference after we invaded and did whatever. The first airstrike started on January 17th, started on my birthday. I remember waking up that day thinking, this is a pretty good day, looking at the news and seeing, hey, we're bombing somewhere. And I knew when we started bombing somewhere that we were going to have troops on the ground.
And was that an issue for you, troops being on the ground?
Troops being on the ground because I was a little bit older, so I didn't fear having to go into the draft or having to go over there. But I thought to myself, if this gets really bad, there are going to be people that I know that are going to die.
All right. Politically, how did the political climate affect you in other areas of life?
How did the political climate affect me in other areas of life?
Like, how did you say politics influenced social aspects or economic aspects of this period?
For me, it was a case of, I really didn't mind the money out of my paycheck going to help somebody survive and have food on the table. But quite frankly, I didn't like paying for someone that was having 10 kids, and every time they had a new kid, they got a new paycheck. I felt like we needed to be a little bit more socially responsible with the money we were spending. Mm-hmm. And I felt like a big chunk of my paycheck went towards paying for other people.
All right. Socially, how would you describe this time period?
Socially, for me, it was a good time frame. Because, I had friends that were, no easy way to say it, I had friends that were black. I had friends that were Asian. I had friends that were Canadian. And everybody just got along. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. You were just people.
So it was kind of like an era of good feelings.
Yeah, it was a very good time in my life. I've thoroughly enjoyed those years.
All right. Lastly, what would you say is the most important lesson or single thing you gained from this period of time, be it social, economic, political, whatever?
More around responsibility. Always been responsible, but that particular time in history became a period of, you know what, I'm 100% responsible for me.
So it was more a period of self-discovery than it was anything else.
Yes, absolutely. I grew up.
All right. Well, that will conclude this interview. This has been my dad, Benjamin Sumner, and this has been Josh Sumner with my Oral History Project. Thank you for watching.
Yep, thank you.